Hello everyone, Dr. Abhinanda Gautam here again with the second video of Leadership in Business. We are living in VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous. And managers perform a lot of diverse role in today's business. So today's session would be on managerial roles and decisions that we are going to talk about. I hope you have already gone ahead with the first video of Leadership in Business, that is the nature of leadership. Today we are going to talk about managerial roles and decisions, and the session covers understand the different roles and activities commonly required for managers, understand the importance of external activities and networking for managers, how managers solve problems and make decisions using leadership effectiveness, and managerial skills and other relevant competencies. As I have said that we live in VUCA world, I also wanted to have a discussion around what extra and different aspects or activities that are performed by managers nowadays. As you can see in this picture, it is a lot of changes that managers are witnessing because of COVID era. So it is a lot of shifting, a lot of movement, a lot of job transfers, job rotation, retrenchment, layoffs, restructuring, and that is what managers are performing almost on a daily basis. So that is why we need to have a relook on different concepts or different activities that today's managers are ought to perform. And there are many such concepts that we have been hearing about in the past decade, but practicing of those concepts is more applicable in today's business scenario. What are those? Let's have a look and have a discussion. A manager's network of contacts, as you can see in here, it is a lot of stakeholders that a manager needs to be in touch with. And I'm sure you being in the right positions, in high positions, must already be knowing that managers are in connection with clients, suppliers, officials in government agencies, colleagues in the same profession, important people in the community. And within the organization, so those are the aspects like clients and suppliers are outside the organization, and within the organization they are either in touch with the people that are above them, like higher executives or the immediate boss, and they are also in connection with their team members, indirect and direct subordinates. So direct subordinates are his reporting line, his or her reporting line, and indirect subordinates are the people that are working for him through collateral relations in the organization. And literally, as you can see, there are other superiors in the other department, peers, and juniors of other departments as well. And these are the connections through which a manager needs to perform his or her action. We can go ahead and see that what are the traits. If you remember, we have discussed about the characteristics of a leader, a follower, and the situation in our last video. Today, in this video, what we are going to talk about are what are the general characteristics that is needed by managers related to leadership effectiveness. And in our last video, we have discussed about managers and leaders. So a manager that aspires to be a leader, what should be the characteristics that or traits that a manager must have in order to grow into a leader? High energy level and stress tolerance. There is continuous stress, and we cannot be away from stress in business world. So the person needs to have that composure, that passion and compassion to go on with the agility and alertness in the organization. The person needs to have self-confidence, emotional maturity. We'll talk about what is emotional intelligence and why emotional maturity is needed in today's dynamic business scenario. I'm not going to talk more about socialized power, motivation, moderately high achievement orientation, low need of affiliation. But what I'm going to talk more is internal locus of control. What is locus of control? That is very important to understand. That locus of control means how a person gets determined, or what his personality derives. So there are two types of locus of control. One is outer locus of control, and the other is internal locus of control. So people that are derived by outer locus of control, they believe in external external factors more, like what is the day to day, what are the stars position, what is the horoscope saying, what is the astrology or forecast today, and they rely quite a lot on external factors as well, and they don't rely much on their internal aspects. Whereas people that are derived and determined by internal locus of control, they believe in their own characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses. They believe in their own decision power, their own skills, talents, and competencies that they have. And it is said that in order to turn into a great leader or a performing manager, it's very important that we put our internal locus of control orientation, because it's us that is responsible for our success and failures. Why it is said moderately high achievement orientation, not only high achievement orientation, because if the person is only bothered and running behind or obsessive behind his or her achievement orientation, then the person would not take the people with them. And greatest leaders or managers that are doing great in their business think more about the people, right? And people let them grow. And it is more about growth. It is not only about individual development, it is about others' development as well. Now, what are the managerial skills and effectiveness? It's extremely important that we talk about these three types of skills. These are broad generalization. I'm sure you must be thinking about other skills as well. But in broad, in total, these are the three types of skills that managers must have in order to execute their businesses seamlessly. So it is first is technical skills, and technical skills means to understand the know-how of the organization, like the rules, policies, regulations, structure, management systems of the organization, and then the kind of product and services they are dealing with in order to operate in the market. So all the technical specifications of the services or the strengths and weaknesses of the products that they are offering. It is important to understand that without the conceptual skills, it's almost impossible, right? That you turn into a great leader. So that is why it's important that you understand the conceptual skills in order to be growing high in the ladder of success or in the organizational hierarchy. So right from good judgment, not deciding, not jumping into the gun, not jumping into the conclusions, having creativity, having critical thinking, which is mostly about rational thinking, which is mostly about rational analysis, logical analysis, develop creative solutions to problems, not only having intuitive solutions to problems, but having rational thought process about the solutions of a problem. Then in today's diverse world, where in each caste, creed, race, and people of different color are working together, and especially through virtual platforms, interpersonal skills are extremely important. And that is why having the social insight, persuasiveness, clear communication, or human behavior and group processes are some of the interpersonal skills that a manager must have. Though the list is long, you may go ahead and have a look about the other interpersonal skills, but these are the major ones that a leader or a manager must have in order to perform. This is a great slide that I believe that I would love to talk about, because these are the latest skills that a manager must have in order to remain in the business and in order to grow in the business. We keep on talking about emotional intelligence, and it is said that today's leaders need to have, this is a mandatory skill almost, in order to understand people, in order to work with people, in order to stand with them, not above them. So first is emotional intelligence, and it is said that emotional intelligence is the art of managing your own emotions before you start managing others' emotions. So how do we manage our own emotions? And according to Daniel Goleman, he's the guru of emotional intelligence, living legend. There are 5 characteristics that we need to understand in detail, practice, and try to inculcate those 5 characteristics in ourselves so that we grow as an emotionally intelligent leader. What are those 5? There would be another session of mine on emotional intelligence where I'm going to talk about each a component of emotional intelligence in one session. So here, I just to let you know down, those are the, 5 characteristics or 5 components, because of which, if we inculcate that, if we improve on practicing those 5 components, we are moving towards an emotionally intelligent person. So first is self-awareness. Are you aware about yourself? Second is self-control, self-regulation, self-control or self-regulation. Third is empathy. Fourth is relationship awareness. And the fifth is social awareness. So I repeat it again: self-awareness, self-control or self-regulation, empathy, relationship management, and social awareness. So in case we are cutting our edges in these 5 components, definitely we are understanding what emotional intelligence is. And that is why it is also important to understand what is social intelligence. Emotional intelligence is to manage your emotions and try to manage others' emotions in situations of confrontation, heated discussion, arguments, and sometimes before taking important decisions. But it is also said that you need to have social intelligence as well, because this is a new a skill that people always used to have, but it was never pronounced or published in the manner that it is now. So social intelligence means the ability to observe, to analyze others' behavior, and try to improve your own behavior just by learning from others. So and that is what is social intelligence. And in today's social media world, it is said that we are learning from every single person that we believe are inspiring others. So it is through blogging, it is through podcast, it is through broadcast, right? And we have innumerable platforms nowadays. But people that think that I know it all, they have least social intelligence. And in order to understand the nuances of today's business world, it is important that we are open, we embrace learning with open arms, not only by reading or not only by performing something or experiencing something, but also by learning, by observing, by talking, and by simply adapting others' behavior into your own behavior. We will talk about social intelligence in detail in our other session. The third is systems thinking. It is said that before 2-3 decades, people used to rely quite a lot on gut intelligence. That is your intuition, what to do in case you are stuck between hard and rock places, what you must do. And people used to be reliant on too much on experience. However, systems thinking is more on analyzing everything in detail, not jumping into the guns or into conclusion, but analyzing the whys, whos, whats before taking any decision. And it is systematic analysis of a problem before you come up with a solution. So that is what is systems thinking. It is also said that systems thinking, and there are various thought processes of systems thinking. Sometimes it is when you are in a system, in a community, in a society, or in a family, your thought process gets aligned to the system that you are in. However, here we are talking about rationalizing, logically analyzing, thinking critically before you solve a problem. And last but not the least is ability to learn, and learning must never stop, whatever age. It is also said that Maslow's theory of motivation has changed because people are really putting a lot of attention on cognitive needs, and your ability to think, reason, and analyze and learn continuously is also important in terms of having great managerial skills. Okay, I'm here to give you some data on top 10 skills that have changed, and things are changing, and I'm giving you a last year's data, right? That how things are changing within a span of 5 years. As you can see, that complex problem solving, that is what I said, systems thinking still ranks at the top position, because we are in various situations, and it is right from unemployment to sometimes to poverty, inequality, sometimes it's retrenchments, downsizing, downsizing, expansion, diversification, and the problems in business world are taking new shape, and right from going contact to online. So that is why complex problem thinking solving still remains at the first stage. However, there are changes, as you can see, that in 2015, creativity was one of the major aspects to be taken, but at position 10. Today, as you can see, it has taken the third position in terms of top 10 skills. You need to be creative. You need to think out of the box. You need to break your fixedness, right? And people management is still at top 5 because robots can do what you say. How to do that is still done by people, and people are extremely competent nowadays. So you also need to have that competence mapping in terms of how do you map people, position people in a way so that they do the best for you. Emotional intelligence, as I said, that emotional intelligence will go a long way in next 20 to 25 years, because it will play a critical role for managers to keep their calm and still go ahead with informed decisions. Judgment and decision making, informed decision making is extremely important because of the tight bottleneck competition that we are living in. This is what has been published by World Economic Forum. Negotiation is extremely important, and it's also understandable that we need to have cognitive flexibility. All right, so then we go ahead and we talk about a myth. What is the myth, guys? The myth is people say that you learn the most when you work, right? When you are experiencing something, that is where you know the most. And the second one is, as I said, it's social learning, because you speak to people, various stakeholders, your clients, your suppliers, your buyers, your purchasers, the people, or your investors, and through them you learn the most. And the third one, the least that you learn, is through formal learning. Now, because of the new aspects that are coming in almost every day, like HR has turned into people analytics, like marketing has turned into digital marketing, like innovation is no more innovation in case we don't know how to do design thinking right in a proper way. So that is why it's important that we keep on upskilling ourselves, because nowadays it's not only 10% of impact in your growth and career is because of formal learning, but the kind of research being done, as you can see, it is from AIHR, the most relevant and the most trustworthy source, that there is very little evidence for 70-20-10 nowadays. It has turned into 50-30 and 20, guys. That means we learn through experience. Definitely it's still the maximum aspect that you learn from experiencing, but it's not 70% anymore. It's 50%, 30% you know through social learning, because we are always bombarded with information through social media, and formal learning has taken a new shape, and it is almost like 10 more percent increase in 10%, right? So it's 20%. Whatever you learn, you create an impact in your practical world or in your area of operation. So it's according to Bureau of Labor Statistics, guys, that 55% of all workers needed specific training to qualify for their current job. And sometimes we think because we are experienced enough, we don't have formal learning, but we're learned because of experience. Formal learning takes a ride, but that is not the truth, guys. And that is why it's very important that we keep on upskilling ourselves. 20% of managers know-how comes from formal learning and training, where the average manager spends less than 1%. We spend only 1% of our time in training. So you can imagine that how much, right? How much do you need to go ahead and learn from various sources like this one, right? And be informed and take informed decisions. Unless and until you are informed, it's very difficult to take informed decisions. So yes, formal learning is important. That is why educational videos are also important. Sometimes it's for free, but you learn so much from these sources. So keep on learning, guys, keep on upskilling. This is it for today's session, guys. Thank you for joining me in this session. Let's have a quick recap of what we have done so far. We discussed about managerial skills. Today, we also talked about traits of a manager that would lead them to leadership effectiveness. In detail, we talked about interpersonal skills, conceptual skills, and technical skills that a manager must possess, and a network contact of managers. I overemphasized on 3 factors, that is social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and systems thinking, that a manager must inculcate in order to grow and to help people develop. So it is important for all of us to keep on knowing more about what are the new traits that are happening in the business, and please help me out in continuing to do what I am doing. So please like and share this video if you feel that I must bring more information on board, and that would really help me a lot, motivate me a lot to bring more information. Please keep on doing whatever you are doing in your best possible way, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel. Bye-bye, take care.